The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On a certain Sabbath, Jesus went into the synagogue and taught, and there was a man whose right hand was withered. The scribes and the Pharisees watched him closely to see if he would cure on the Sabbath, so that they might discover a reason to accuse him. But he realized their intentions and said to the man with a withered hand, "Come up and stand before us." And he rose and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath rather than to do evil, to save life rather than to destroy it?" Looking around at them all, he said to him, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was restored. But they became enraged and discussed together what they might do to Jesus. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
As well as being Monday of the 23rd week of Ordinary Time, today is also the anniversary of the terrorist attacks on 9/11, September 11th. So I'm sure we all remember that day well. But it brings to mind, and along with our gospel, the problem of evil. Why does evil exist? How can an all-good God create evil? And the answer is he didn't. God did not create evil. Evil is what we call a privation of good. So you think of, what is darkness? Darkness is an absence of light. It doesn't really exist. It's just an absence of a good, which is light. So what is evil? The absence of good. It doesn't really exist, but it is. It's there. We experience it, but it doesn't exist in the sense that God doesn't ordain it. He doesn't sustain it. He didn't create it. But it is. It's there. And it's there because of our fallen world, the primordial sin of Adam and Eve, things like that. But yet it is present to us, and God knows it and works within it, but he didn't create it. So that's just fundamental rule. God did not create evil, but he allows it. He permits it. And he permits it, the basic saying, God permits evil to bring about a greater good. The ultimate example of this is the cross. The greatest evil ever done to mankind, the crucifixion of God, that mankind has ever done even, the crucifixion of God, brought about the greatest good ever known to mankind, the resurrection of life from death. Redemption of the greatest evil, which is death. So, penultimate example. Okay, another example that is in our gospel here today. Here's a man with a withered hand. Okay, that's an evil. That's a privation of good. His hand's all messed up. All right, Jesus comes. He's healer, right? So he heals it. Jesus. He heals that evil, and he doesn't just restore it. There's a lesson here. There's a greater good. The guy who has a withered hand now praises God to a new degree because his hand is now restored. If it never was injured, he probably wouldn't have thanked God to the same extent. All those around him now glorify God. All right, that's what God does. He brings good out of evil. We think of 9/11 and. That was a great catastrophe, a great evil, injustice done on our nation. A lot of innocent people lost their lives. I don't know. What are the goods that come out of that? I know my priestly vocation came out of that. I don't know if that's good or not, but it is for me, God willing, for the church. But yeah, that event when I was 21, bam, just set me on this course to the priesthood. Hey, I want to do something good with my life. I didn't know what that was. But I started down that road, eventually led to the priesthood. All right, that's a small example. But God can bring good out of evil, and he does if we allow him, if we have faith through it, not get shaken by the fact that evil exists in our life or in this world. God didn't come to do away with evil. He came to redeem it, to bring about a greater good through it. So that's our lot, this side of heaven. I don't know that we want to get too shaken up when we see evil manifest itself. It's not cool, not an advocate for it, and we should work against it. But the fact that it is here, I don't think should shake us. All right? The cross is a reminder that God brings good out of evil. He didn't create it. He redeems it. He brings good out of it if we choose to have faith and walk with him through it. So God can do all things. Let's stay firm, even in the midst of evil, even if it's personal, that with the faith and the trust that God can and will bring good out of evil.